Order. So, Mr. Millsworth is out. He may log in here in a little bit, I don't know. And, Mr. Scott is out today. So we'll go ahead and get started. I have a prayer being done by Pam Harris, Grant County Clerk, and while the Pledge of Allegiance being done by Mike Rohrbach.
Dear Heavenly Father, we are so incredibly grateful for your goodness, your care, your love, and your guidance. We thank you for the brilliant colors of this autumn season, for the farmers who are working so hard to provide for our nation and others as well, for the truckers and those transporting. We know they're having a difficult time now. We pray that you'll continue to just bless them, dear God, and guide them. We thank you for this body. We thank you, dear God, that they have taken time out of their lives to take care of our county, to be good stewards of the county's money. And we know that's a heavy weight on their shoulders. And we thank you, dear Father, that they have stepped up and have taken that task on. We pray that you'll continue to guide them, to bless them and bless our county in the process. In your loving name we pray. Amen.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. As we were getting started here, I've had a few things going on with Mr. Middlesworth. And it appears that our first person is here.
Want to do a roll call for me?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Jim. Go ahead, do roll call and do the reports.
Mr. Scott, you said is not going to be here. I hadn't heard from him, so I wasn't sure. Mr. Connor?
Here.
Mr. Rohrbach?
I'm here.
Mr. Hicks?
Here.
Mr. Poling?
Here.
Mr. Lemming?
Here.
And Mr. Middlesworth is going to be absent. Okay, you do have a quorum, though, so you're okay.
So we can do approval of minutes if anybody has anything from last month's minutes. Need a motion.
Motion to approve minutes. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve minutes. No changes.
I didn't know who made the motion.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Mr. Connor did, okay.
Mr. Rohrbach was the second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Jim, do you want to do like a audit report?
Yeah, just briefly, you have hopefully the information I emailed to you that shows my comments and the actual copies of the reports in your packets then. So from a financial standpoint, pretty much standard. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. A couple other things just wanted to point out. I guess just one other thing, the State Board of Accounts are finishing up the audit for 2021. And right now we have an exit conference scheduled for November 3rd with them. So just wanted to point that out. I think Mr. Middlesworth probably plans to be there. So other than that, if you have questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. McCoy? We have County Court Services, Melissa Stevenson, up on the pretrial grant. Are you, Melissa?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm going to let you explain it and go.
Sure. So I want to talk a little bit about our pretrial services program. I thought I'd share a little bit of information just so you can have some context about what that is. So in 2021, we did 644 assessments for inmates incarcerated in the Grant County Jail. So far this year, we've done 525. We currently have 188 people being supervised in the pretrial services program. So if they were not on pretrial, it's likely that these individuals would be incarcerated still in the Grant County Jail, awaiting their cases. The overall public safety rate since inception is 77.47%. And that measures whether the rate at which people commit new crimes while they're on awaiting disposition of their case. The court appearance rate is 88.67%. So that these are people that were successfully discharged from pretrial services without a failure to appear. So that's pretty promising information. So it's showing that people who are on services are actually making it to all the majority of their court hearings. So the funding history for pretrial services is the fund 9145 was established in July of 2017 when we were awarded $313,197 over a 2-year funding period to fund for 3 full-time probation officers' salaries and benefits, some reimbursement for the public defenders, and training for pretrial services staff. Since that time, we've continued to be awarded grants to cover the same items for 3.5 consecutive years for a total amount of grant awards of $1,180,906.50. So that's saving the county a significant amount of money over these most recent years. When we start looking at the jail impact, we regularly are at or above our capacity in the jail. We know that that's a common problem that we're facing here locally and throughout the state. The current jail population as of today was 299. That's above the capacity. Pretrial supervision is a critical part of the county's overall strategy to manage jail overcrowding. And according to the Indiana Department of Corrections, the average cost of incarceration for an individual in Indiana is $52.61. So if you think about that, we have 188 people currently on pretrial supervision. If you take that information and kind of multiply that out by what it costs today, it's looking at the expense to the county would be $9,890 per day for those 188 individuals. If the county were required to contract with other facilities to house these defendants, then you would be looking at a similar cost if we had to ship them somewhere else. So when looking at the previously completed supervision since the program's inception of in 2017, it's reasonable to estimate the cost savings to the county in the millions of dollars over these years. Okay, so all that to be said, the pretrial, we received our award from the Indiana Office of Court Services in the amount of $215,518 for continuation of the pretrial services grant. This is an advanced pay grant that pays quarterly now. It pays ahead. So the county isn't having to front up money and get reimbursed. It's paid in advance by the quarter. The grant period for the award is January 1st of 2023 to December 31st of 2023. You should have received the awards letter in your packet. So what this award includes full salaries for 3 assessors or for 3 staff. You have 2 assessors and a supervisor or the coordinator for that position. Also included in the award is the funding for public defender fees for the first appearance hearings. And like last year, what we received was a 30% cap on the individual salary. So they took each salary independently and capped their benefits at 30%. So they calculated that out. The pretrial services grant was presented to the commissioners during their meeting that was held on September 19th. Where they were made aware of the remaining 70% in benefits for each individual employee totaling. At that time, it was $59,074, and it was approved to pay the deficit out of their budgeted appropriation for the benefits that's provided out of the general fund. With the decrease in the contribution of health insurance that was approved by the council on October 5th to $17,000. It actually takes the deficit down to $46,174. to be paid out of the commissioner's budget for their prior consent. So a couple of other things I thought I would bring to your attention about some savings that are happening actually out of the probation salaries from the general fund is we actually had 2 vacated positions at the higher salary scale. And both of those positions were filled at 0 years of experience, as opposed to 20+ years experience, and one with a master's degree. So we looked at the cost savings for that. So the combined savings for these replacements for 2022 and 2023 in salary and benefits, the benefits were calculated for 2022, is $132,214.74. So looking at that, kind of helping offset the deficit that we're looking at with the pretrial services.
So my question, I guess, I seen at the very back of this packet, Judge Spitzer is one that signs off on that. So how do they come about the part of choosing who gets to go on that? Because you said that the rate was between 70% and 86% of the people that are on these, they go back to court and they
Right.
follow through with what they're supposed to do. So how do you go about choosing those? 'Cause I keep seeing on news channels all over the place how.
Yeah, so we do a couple of assessments. So we do a risk assessment that's validated. It's the IRAS PAT. So it's a validated risk assessment tool to help make release decisions in terms of what type of supervision. We have different levels of supervision when people become part of the pretrial services program. So our supervision changes based on their risk scores.
Any other council members have any questions for Melissa? Accept the motion. I would accept the motion to pass this grant so they can go forward.
So moved.
Second. Second. Thank you, Mr. Hicks. We have a motion on the floor in a second. We need, I need that public comment on this. Any public comment on the grant? Seeing no one moving, we'll move forward with roll call.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Rohrbach, Mr. Hicks,
Yes.
Mr. Poling,
Yes.
Mr. Lemon.
Yes.
Is Shane online? I'm assuming he's not.
No.
Okay, he's out. So it does carry. 5-0.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Next up would be Dwayne Ashcraft with transfer appropriation.
I'm moving approval.
You don't want to hear from him?
I got it down.
This time it's not as bad, okay? Probably said okay. He said okay? That's good.
He didn't want to hear from me.
Mr. Lemon there.
Go ahead, Dwayne.
Okay, we moved 2 of the people from the basic EMT part-time into full-time so that we would have scheduling. We had enough money in that account, we did not have to ask for additional appropriations. However, I do need to request a transfer in order to pay them for the remainder of the year. 22,000 be transferred from line item 14,003, which is the EMT salaries, over to the EMT full-time, which is the 1,400 or 14,000 account. The second item is $1,000 transfer from line item, the EMT salaries, to the computer software line item. Unfortunately, that was my mistake, that I put the wrong numbers down on the claim and needed to take it out of that. So rather than to change the claim and the numbers, it's just easier to transfer the money.
Questions?
That's what account
That's my
that was,
mistake.
that's what account that was taken out originally. We have an issue where it's out.
This is the first I've heard of it.
It could be, it's not a very good account where you put it, so we ought to correct it. I
Okay,
mean, I'm not sure where you
well,
put it.
it was my mistake.
But in fact, whose mistake it was, if it's in an account that it shouldn't be, we ought to correct that probably.
Okay,
You
and
can,
rather than transfer it, I mean.
depends on what it is. You can go ahead and pass this, but we ought to look at that and see where it is, I guess, because it could be, it shouldn't be in the account where you put it. We need to look and see. Is this, it's in 36,804?
Uh-huh.
What was it you paid for? Don't know. Okay, well, go ahead and do it. We can look at it, make sure it makes sense what account it's.
Okay.
Approval.
Motion seconded. A second on the table, Mr. Pauling. Any, anyone in the audience need to ask any questions, I guess, do that. Seeing nobody moving, go ahead, Jim, we'll do roll call.
Okay, Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Rohrbach,
Aye.
Mr. Hicks,
Yes.
Mr. Poling,
Yes.
Mr. Lemon.
Yes.
I'll assume Shane is still absent. Motion does carry.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll follow up
Check it, check it.
with Angie just then.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Now, the next one on the agenda is Kristen Goff with the Purdue County offices.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you. Well, I'm here tonight to request a transfer of funds from equipment to overtime of $200 and from equipment repair to overtime for $325. The overtime was incurred during the 4-H fair for county staff. That's what we're requesting, a transfer of funds.
Any council members, any questions?
Move approval.
Have a motion on the table from Mr. Rohrbach. Need a second. Second from Mr. Connor. Any other discussion? Oh,
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Rohrbach,
Aye.
Mr. Hicks,
yes.
Mr. Poling,
Yes.
Mr. Lemon.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next up on the agenda would be county commissioners. I see one in the seats and I see one online. Who would like to take it?
I'm actually prepared to do it.
Well, I seen your name on here, but I thought I'd give everybody a fair shot at it. You know.
Steve was very happy that I was online, so
Can't believe that from Mr. Ryan. Surely not. Okay, go
Can you
ahead.
hear me all right? You can hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'll be happy to take any questions, but as we look in the first section on the general fund transfer request, I can just go right down the line. The request for $6,500 from copier printer expense to trash removal. This is a request for that $6,500 because we've taken on trash from the EMS and costs are going up as well. That will be a item in their line item that they won't have since we're taking that over. The next item requesting $1,466.15 from the copier printer line to equipment. This has to do with the EMA sign that was damaged in the windstorm, and this is basically the cost of the deductible and depreciation that we have to pay for. The third item there, moving $25,000 from the Social Security Medicare to the telephone. We had just misjudged this particular line item, and so we have not in the past asked for enough, and so that $25,000 should be able to carry us through the rest of the year. Item number 4, from unemployment to cell phones, in the amount of $4,100. We have taken on a couple of additional payments with folks using their cell phone stipend, so we'll need $4,100 there. Next item down, from the unemployment to janitorial, in the amount of $27,761.29. We are, again, at the point where we didn't ask for enough. We are going to be looking at how much this is costing now. We're about past $180,000 annually on this particular cost factor. So we're probably going to bid it out again to make sure that we're getting a good cost factor, getting a good bang for our buck there. With regard to the next line item, from workman's comp to supplies, we just needed additional supplies that we weren't prepared for. And the last item there in the general fund, moving $52,430 from perf to the group insurance. I think Melissa already had noted that that is a part of the agreement with corrections. We provide the benefits anyway, but I think she noted that instead of the 52,000, we're going to look at about 46,471, but would still ask for the entire transfer just to make sure we're padded there. So if you have any other questions on the general fund transfers, I'll be glad to take them.
How much is that? How long is that 6,500 last for the trash removal? How, is that a month, 2 months, 3 months?
That should take us through the rest of this year, Chuck.
What do we spend on that yearly?
I don't have that figure in front of me, I'm sorry, but we basically, instead of the EMS using the rest of their trash, we're taking up that cost, and then there was a price increase, I do know, that we're paying for.
Can you let me know what we spend on that yearly when you have a chance sometime?
I can do that, absolutely.
Any other questions from the council? Take a motion.
You want to do both at the same time, or you want to keep them separate? You have your choice. There's one for the CCD. You could do it at the same time if you wanted to. It's up to you.
Yeah. Do you want to do that one too, Mr. Barnsley? The next one for vehicles to equipment, the 25,001?
Sure. Under CUME capital development request, we have a balance in vehicles. We are going to have a deficit with equipment because it's our recommendation to purchase printers for the clerk of courts regarding the voter equipment. So by moving the $25,001 over, we'll be able to care for her request, as well as have a little bit of a balance to carry us through in case we have any other unexpected equipment purchases.
Any questions on any of that? I did vote, by the way, early, and I did see that little printer inside of the machine. That's pretty cool to see your actual vote get tallied right in front of you. I did like that. Was pretty. Anyone else on the council with any questions? Are you thinking of something you want to ask? No. Okay, we could do all these transfers then at one time if we get a motion. Mr. Connor with the motion in a second. Second. Mr. Hicks with the second. Need any public input?
I just want, I know there was just a question on what equipment she was going to buy, and just that's between the clerk and the commissioners. You know, as long as the transfer covers what they want, whether it's the used ones or the new ones, that would be up to them. So, yeah.
Thank you, Chancellor. Okay, I guess roll call.
Okay, let's see. Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Rohrbach,
Aye.
Mr. Hicks,
Yes.
Mr. Poling,
Yes.
and Mr. Lemming.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. A little behind your schedule, but I'm working on it.
5 and 10 minutes.
Okay, so up to the next one would be our old business, the adoption of budgets for 2023. You should have at your table the packets showing the levy caps, all the requested budgets, all the CCD, all those informational things that we had. Do you want to hit that before?
Yeah, I thought we just kind of do this in one motion. We will make it as simple as we can. I thought what I would do is just read quickly the ones that are part of the DLGF's approval process. That's on the page that you'll be signing off on this evening. It's called the Budget Form 4. And those are the ones we have to advertise and go through that formal DLGF approval process. I'll read, general fund is our big one, of course. The adopted budget is 25,546,228. The levy that's shown as adopted is 15,600,000, and I would have a rate of 0.8000. The reassessment fund has a budget of 515,428 with an advertised levy of 650,000 and a rate of 0.0333. Debt service fund, the budget is 687,475. The levy that we're adopting is 900,000. The rate would be 0.0462. The highway fund has an adopted budget before you of 3,609,295. There is no levy and no tax rate associated with that fund. Local road and street fund, a budget of 500,000. Again, no levy and no tax rate associated with that fund. The cumulative bridge fund has a budget of 1,200,000. The adopted levy of 1,750,000, and the rate would be 0.0897. Health fund, adopted budget of 660,134. The adopted levy 570,000, and the rate 0.0292. Then we have the cumulative capital development fund, the adopted budget of 390,000, an adopted levy 500,000, and the rate would be 0.0256. And then we have the economic development income tax, the seeded fund, the adopted budget 1,300,000, no tax rate and no tax levy associated with that fund. So those are the budgeted funds. And I want to point out the adopted budget column, that's what we're going to ask you to adopt tonight. Through the process, that's where we've come. But the levy column, the adopted levy, those are what's going to be advertised you're going to adopt, but those will be lower when it's all said and done, just so you understand that we're high here, it'll drop down. I can give you my estimate what it'll be, but this is definitely going to be lower than what's shown here, okay? You want to hear my estimates, I can tell you. Again, for the adopted tax rate, same thing. What we show here is high. We expect that to be lower when it's all said and done, okay? The reason we have it that way is because they can't raise what we adopt. They can only lower what we adopt. So you have to adopt a little high so they can come down from that, okay? Any questions on those?
How does that compare to last year's adopted rate? Not what we actually did, but what we advertised like this.
Okay, ask me that again.
Okay, compare that to the same figure a year ago. Not what we actually did.
I don't have it with me, so I can't tell you that. I'd have to go upstairs and get it.
Okay.
I don't have it down here with me.
Are we going to wind up lower?
I would say the tax rate will be very similar when we're all said and done from last year. It depends what happens to the AV number, the assessed valuation number.
But the rate,
I'm expecting that rate to be very close to last year's rate
okay,
for all the funds. And the levies will be like 5% higher because they give us a 5% jump in levy.
thank you.
Okay. I can give you what I'm guessing, just real quickly. The general fund, we're adopting 15,600,000 in levy. What I'm expecting that to be is 15,180,000. That's what I'm expecting it to be, okay? Reassessment fund, we're asking for the adoption of 650,000, and I really expect it to be 539,000. So you can see there's going to be differences there,
That's fine.
okay? I always want to give you that high number so you can, whatever it becomes, you'll get, you can receive all that you should receive, bottom line. I don't want you to be shorted.
That makes sense to me.
So that's those funds. Now, what I'd also say, you can include your motion should you choose, is in this set of pages, that you should have, you got an email that you should have a copy at your table tonight. Go flip by the first two pages, skip the first two, and then it starts with a detailed list of budgets for all the funds. Okay, so and we'll make this a part of the minutes if you so adopt tonight, but this would show all the other funds and the adopted budgets associated with those funds. Okay? And they're broken down by personal services, supplies, other services and charges, capital outlay, and then you have the total. Follow me there?
Yes.
Okay, so, and I won't read all those budgets. What I would say is, if you want to make the motion, you could just move to adopt the budgets that were read and as per the schedule that's been presented to you. As a big part of your minutes.
So moved. Second.
A second. Any council members have any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. McWork, to you and all your staff for this great job.
Thank you.
Glad we don't have to do all the details.
It's fun, right?
Yes, absolutely. Love numbers.
So tell me this, Jim, do we all need to sign the back of it?
Yeah, this form, where's it at here? I've got a copy for you to sign somewhere, I hope. There it is. Yeah, what'll happen is the five of you that are here, there's a blank for you, and I'll send this around. I've got a copy that'll be the original. You'll check off if you vote yes, aye, and hopefully four of you will vote aye at least.
Just one this time.
No, whether just one form to sign, yes. I'll pass one around for, and you pick your spot. There's gonna be two blank lines. Mr. Scott and Mr. Middlesworth will be blank, but you guys can check aye, nay, or abstain, and then sign it. Okay?
So don't get out of here till we get that signed.
Yeah, don't leave till you sign this. We have to submit this on Gateway, so.
Any other questions or concerns from the council? Anyone from the public? Okay, roll call.
Okay, Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Rohrbach,
Aye.
Mr. Hicks,
Yes.
Mr. Poling,
Yes.
and Mr. Lemming.
Yes.
Okay, that does pass. Thank you very much. I appreciate this. I'll send this form around. That's the page to sign. You can find your thing down here. Check it.
Motion was Mr. Connor.
Thank you.
Mr. Robach was the second.
Thank you.
Oh, you didn't catch that? Okay.
I didn't.
All right.
Didn't want to- Nope.
Yeah. Just before I close everything out, is there any reports or anything we need to bring up we haven't discussed in the council? Next meeting will be November the 19th, I guess?
16.
16th, okay.
It's a 16. Is that the right?
Yes.
16.
Yes, please.
Be the week before Thanksgiving, yes.
Motion to close.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second. Second.
If it's not seconded and approved, you have to stay for eternity. I've seen it happen. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, stay. Because it didn't happen.
Got everything, right?
Like,
Do we say aye? Good. Found a difference in my voice?
it is deeper. It's very nice.
Smoother and
Yes, it is.
not as much.
Not as raspy.
No choking or rasping.
Wiper's back.
Very nice.
Wife, back to you, right?
It's a, you guys.
I'm going to.
We never get motion to adjourn.
All right, then I guess we're gonna be adjourned.
It was successful. Yes. I had 10 years now, and did me good, and hopefully it's permanent. Back.